So let's zoom in on which organization. Now they created a front group. What is a front group? A front group in Corpus Christi. Remember, I'm using Corpus Christi as a microcosm for the Valley, San Antonio, California, so on and so forth.
Now, this is going on everywhere.
Everywhere. But basically, if you understand Corpus Christi, this model can be applied everywhere else. What are they doing? Well, they're creating a front group, and the guy that's sponsoring most of that is David Koch, because here you have a private corporation, the vice president of Koch Refineries, that pretty much doesn't have to report a lot of the monies the way they're channeled, because you're talking about one of the largest private corporations in the United States. And John Tenton, of course, that I talked about, the eugenics, anti-immigrant guy that has all these millions that are being channeled into anti-immigration, into Tea Parties, so on and so forth. So what's going on? A front group is throughout the country. They're going out with the IRS and they're applying for something you call a 501c3 or 501c4, which is a non-exempt status. They're creating nonprofit corporations. Why? Because nonprofit corporations are not political action committees. And this way, they don't have to report who their funding sources are.
And there's just been new legislation on that.
Submitted to the new scrutiny. So basically, what you have, a front group is a fake organization that's being sponsored by very powerful corporations or people or individuals that is used to make it seem that it's a grassroots type of deal.
But it's a subterfuge for another
all
agenda.
It is they hire certain individuals, they channel money, they create a nonprofit, they start channeling money. Let me tell you, what is the definition of a grassroots organization? Something that's organized from the bottom in the community up, right? Then it grows. And this is the opposite. Here you have think tanks in New York, Chicago, Michigan, putting these concepts together, transporting the idea to Corpus. They're channeling the money to certain individuals here to start that. The complete opposite of what a grassroots organization is all about. So basically, it's all vested interest. In Corpus Christi, we have an organization called the Corpus Christi Tea Party. And remember, you might look at it and say, well, it's just a patriotic group. Yeah, there's many individuals that are involved because of sincere reasons. They want fiscal responsibility, smaller government.
Sure.
But I started an investigation into the core leadership. Remember, I'm not talking about the other rungs where the masses are of the Tea Party. Who put these Tea Parties together? Last year's Corpus Christi Tea Party was sponsored by a local nurse, Donna McClure. Okay, you know, she's made some statements on her Facebook page. She has treat nurses right, or we let the doctors kill you. You know, and she has several photos with her military gear and you know, with her guns and all this type of deal, which is her constitutional right. The second individual is a man by the name of Chuck Burnett. He started South Texans for Liberty, and that's really the big organization. South Texans for Liberty. Sounds beautiful, right? But as I started to peel the onion to see what's in the core, I started to see that he's also the president of the John Birch Society, the recruiter of the John Birch Society. They're meeting at Jason's Deli here in Corpus Christi, by the way. And every time they have a meeting, they're recruiting people into the John Birch Society.
And what is the John Birch? What is the John Birch Society?
Basically, John Birch Society is considered a hate group since it was founded in the late 50s by John Welch. John Birch was actually some guy from Georgia that died in, you know.
And this is active in the Republican Party here in town.
The John Birch Society is a hate group that was operated during the 50s and 60s. It's being resurrected in Corpus Christi and in other places, but it's being resurrected by one of the steering committee people within the Tea Party of Corpus Christi, and his name is Chuck Burnett. He's the recruiter, the president, the everything that is associated. Basically, who is the John Birch Society? Well, if we go back in time, the 50s and 60s, You all might remember Earl Warren, Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren,
Yes.
who voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Their biggest opponents of Earl Warren was the John Birch Society. They called it that he was trying to, he was for racial mongrelization. In other words, they were allowing Latinos and blacks now into restaurants, into schools, and we were destroying the gene pool. Remember, this is the John Birch Society's reaction to Earl Warren. Here you had, remember, Latinos in South Texas, remember, we're zooming in here on Corpus Christi and the area. Here we have a city right next door called Driscoll, Texas. Many people don't know that a Supreme Court case came out of there during those days, real famous. This is, before that time, Latinos were segregated here in South Texas. The case is known as Rodriguez versus Driscoll ISD.